Greetings guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at some fun facts on the internet, except the facts are posted by people who don't actually know what they're talking about, and they are not at all factual. And all of these tweets are from one of my favorite accounts on Twitter, which is Bad Medical Takes. We like to look through Reddit's like Bad Woman's Anatomy over here on this channel, but this is like that but broader. This is just in general, just like that's not how bodies work. That's not how anything works. And I always find it both very amusing and slightly terrifying that these are real things that people believe and share on the internet. But like, you know, maybe with Elon Musk owning Twitter, we'll get rid of all the fake facts and Twitter will be 100% factual because I really trust a billionaire. Anyway, let's get into the really fun, really correct medical takes. Tweets like, gentle reminder that mental illness makes you sad sometimes and sometimes it makes you quite anxious, but mental illness does not list common traits of mania and schizophrenia. And someone replied saying, mental illness comes from blunt force trauma. The rest suffer from spiritual dysfunction. I don't know where you got this idea from, but I assure you that that is not at all even a little bit correct. I promise you that mental illness does not come from being bopped on the head. I promise. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain and that's not caused by blunt force trauma. The first initial tweet though is like, that in itself is like, yeah. People really try to romanticize mental illness and then invalidate people with mental illnesses that don't fit into their little romanticized little box. Like, mental illness is a lot of things. It's ugly, it's scary, it's isolating, and it looks different for everyone and it comes at different extremities. But yeah, mental illness does fuck you up. And a lot of people who do a lot of shit are mentally ill. A lot of behavior can be explained by mental illness. Behavior can't always be excused because of mental illness, but it can be explained by mental illness. You can't just be like, depression and anxiety are when you're mentally ill and they just make you a little bit sad and a little bit anxious. But like, when you start doing all this shit, like talking to yourself and like doing really reckless and dangerous shit, that's not mental illness, that's just you being a bad person. No, fuck you, that's what mental illness is. It's all mental illness. It's all encompassed in the same thing. There's just different varieties of it and it affects people differently, okay? Okay, I'm glad we talked about that. And it's not caused by being bonked on the head. That's not how it works at all. But good try. Good try. You tried. You were incorrect, but you tried. Having sex without being pregnant is lying to your own uterus because of pleasure. It thinks you're becoming a mum, but you lie to it. A woman who had more than 3 times of sex in her entire life is mentally ill. Look at what animals do. Okay. The reason sex feels good is to make you want to procreate, right? That is the point. It is to carry on the human species. It's to keep us reproducing, having babies. That's why it feels good, is motivation to have children, because why else would you want them, you know? That is why sex feels good. Biologically, yeah, correct. But implying that you only need to have sex a total of 3 times in your life to get pregnant is insane. Like, for some people, yeah, you get pregnant the first time you have sex. You have sex 1 time, you get pregnant. That happens, obviously. But then for other people, they can try for years and still never get pregnant. Are you saying you should give up after 3 tries because then it becomes a mental illness? Somehow? Like, if it feels good, then why would you be mentally ill for continuing to do it? And if the purpose of it is to become a mom and then you don't, surely doing it again would make sense. And also, hate to break it to you, animals do that. Animals don't just have sex 3 times in their lives and then never again. They also like have sex and reproduce throughout their lives. Even without pleasure, they have sex more than 3 times in their lives. I don't know where you got this information that animals only have sex 3 times and then never again. That's not at all true. At all. And a lot of the time they have sex and also don't have offspring. They don't have offspring. And like, sometimes they do it to practice. Like, before they're even mature enough to mate, they will like practice having sex. It's real weird. I had turtles, they used to do that. And again, have sex or don't. It's up to you. But you're not, being mentally ill for having sex more than 3 times doesn't make sense. You don't have a very good argument for that. I don't understand your point at all. The direction therapy takes with men is feminine, making them feel loved. This is the wrong approach. Male therapy would be so much more effective for men if the focus was on making him feel powerful. Telling a man to get a 6-pack is better than telling him he's loved. You, sir, are part of the problem. This is why men need therapy in the first place. Because they're told that they're not allowed to have emotions, that they are not loved, that being emotional and vulnerable is bad, that they need to hold power in their lives and be the powerful, strong man, and they have to lead and take on all this responsibility, and they aren't allowed to show weakness or emotion or vulnerability. That's why men are in therapy. For the most part, a lot of men go into therapy because they're told they have to have a 6-pack and be powerful and not ask for help. So you're quite literally the opposite of correct. You are as far wrong as you could be. Telling them they need to get a 6-pack in order to feel better about themselves is like literally the last thing that should be done. Why do you think men are in therapy? Why do you think people go to therapy? Telling you to just like go work out is not helpful. Telling men they need to be masculine, not helpful at all, actually, at all. So imagine thinking gaining muscle makes you infertile. Just say buff women scare you and go, LMAO. It does. Women literally have different muscle and bone structure. They aren't meant to lift heavy things. I don't know why you have such a strong desire for women to do masculine things. If my body was not meant to pick up heavy things, or it forbid me from picking up heavy things, I wouldn't be able to build muscle. I wouldn't be able to do that, but I am. And like, even if you want to argue this like gender role thing, I'm gonna assume you're into like the trad wife sort of thing, like gender roles. Women stay at home, they're caretakers, they look after the house and the children. Okay, then I'm gonna give you a hypothetical here, all right? We're gonna play this muscle building game along your terms and your gender ideology. What if, you know, a mother is at home with her child and her child needs to be carried up the stairs? Children are not notoriously light. They do weigh, you know, they're heavy. You need to be able to pick up your child and carry them up the stairs. So women should actually be encouraged to have muscle in case they need to carry their child anywhere. They need to be able to lift their child. What if they're like, even like a teenager and they are sick or they're disabled and they need to be taken somewhere and your husband is at work or at war and you need to pick them up and take them somewhere? You should be prepared. You should be buff so you can look after your children. What about like a sack of potatoes? You're doing the cooking, you have a big family, you got 8 kids to feed, and your husband, you gotta do all the cooking. You need a sack of potatoes, 10 kilos. You gotta pick that up, you gotta carry that home. You gotta carry all the vegetables. You've gotta like, you know, take the vacuum cleaner and shit out of the wardrobe. What if it's kept on the top shelf, you know? Carrying all the dishes and stuff, those are heavy. You're feeding a big family. You gotta carry heavy dishes. Women should have to carry heavy things. They do have to. We do have to. So even if you're looking at a gendered view of this, you still need muscle. So I'm sorry to poke holes in your theory, but going on my lunch break after charging a single mother of 3 141 grand for an emergency heart surgery, which is a horrific and terrible thing. Why are you flexing that? Oh my god, you are a terrible person. But the reply, people think the surgeon is the villain, but the real villains are the ones who told her being unhealthy is good because body positivity. What? What? Okay, I don't know the context of the video, so I don't know if this person stated why the heart surgery was happening. But based on the screenshot that I have, we don't know why this person was getting emergency heart surgery, so jumping straight to obesity is very, very uncalled for and very bizarre. Totally unnecessary. And even so, like whether it is obesity or not, it is absolutely not the fault of that person nor anyone else. They're not the villain in this situation. No matter what the situation, you should not be charged $141,000 for life-saving surgery. That is insane. We all have the right to live, and making someone pay that to be able to continue to be alive is the most fucked up thing. Oh my god. No matter how you spin it, no matter whose decision it was, no matter what, in no single world is that okay. And as anyone but whoever has decided that is how much it's going to cost, they're the bad guy. No matter what, they're the bad guy. Even if, like, you know, someone was shot and they needed to get treatment for being shot, I would say that the people charging $100,000 are equally as bad as the person who shot them. Just in my opinion, because they're also fucking trying to kill them. It's your job as a surgeon, as a doctor, to want to help people, and if you are exploiting people that horrifically, that's insanely fucked up of you. Fucking, oh my god, that's absolutely insane. Evil, that's evil. And I know that the surgeon maybe doesn't choose that price, but the fact that they're like joking about it, that's fucked up. Gay men kissing is not a problem. Do you ever kiss your husband in front of your children? Why is it okay for you, but not gay men to do it in their own yard? Don't be a homophobe. Because 2 guys kissing and 2 girls kissing is not biologically normal, so most people don't want their children exposed to it. When they grow up, they can do whatever, but as young children, they need to be protected from non-biological norms. This is absolutely bullshit, because 1, being gay is biologically normal. We need to stop having this conversation because we've gone in circles. We've been talking about this for a really fucking long time, but being gay is normal, okay? It is biologically normal. It exists within like the entire animal kingdom. Just like deal with it, get over it, right? But even still, don't lie. Don't lie that you just want to protect your kids from things that are biologically abnormal. Here's an example. French bulldogs, alright? They are not biologically normal at all. They can't even exist without human interference. They have to be artificially inseminated. They're not a real fucking breed. They have to be artificially inseminated. Are you gonna shield your child's eyes every time a French bulldog walks down the road? I doubt it, because you don't care about biological abnormalities. You're just homophobic. Just in general, freaking dogs and domesticated dogs and like cats and stuff aren't really biologically normal. We've kind of bred them to like exist as we want them to exist. If you look at most things, we've kind of just messed with everything to make them kind of fucked up in order to benefit us. So being gay and kissing is like the most biologically normal thing in your life. So don't lie. Don't lie. Guy who refuses to eat his girlfriend out. It's not a taste thing, it's a texture thing. I don't like the texture. And now you will be bald. Look it up. Men who eat vagina are less likely to go bald. We release a hormone that helps with hair growth. Hashtag facts, hashtag bald boys. I mean, the first tweet was a joke. It's quite funny. It was a joke. And I also I don't think that's true. Where did you come up with that? Is that a lie you told to a man one time to get him to go down on you? Which is a little bit manipulative, by the way. Don't do that. You told him that to get him to go down on you, and then you just like started believing the lie? Did you learn it from like a friend? Did you just hear it on the street and have decided it's real because it benefits you? Because I'm pretty sure it's not real, or if it is, it's like, I don't think it's as helpful as you seem to think it is. It's not like some like magical cure to male patent baldness. It might have like minor benefits. I know a lot of sex stuff does. Like, I know that like semen is like good for your skin and can apparently help with like mental clarity or whatever. Again, I don't know if that's true. That's just what I've read on the internet. I have not fact checked that. If that's not true, then I've been fooled, such as this person. I don't go around talking about that though, because I haven't checked that. I don't really care enough to check that. But I don't think it's as useful as people try to claim it to be, you know? Casual sex is not recommended because sperm is biologically our true master. Men observe ownership of us when they come inside, and rightfully so. The proteins change women's bodies and emotions in small ways, even alter DNA of them, and each load lasts days within us, not hours. See, this is where the, like, what I was just saying, the proteins change our bodies and emotions in a small way. Now, that, absolutely bullshit. That's not at all what I was trying to imply. Apparently it can be helpful for like mental clarity or like depression or whatever, somehow, but I know that sex can be, and like that release is actually good for like your immune system and stuff, so it's probably like interlinked with that somehow, somewhere, but it absolutely does not does not change your DNA or your body's function. It does not become a part of you. You are not now part that person you just slept with. That's not how it works. They do not have any ownership of you. That doesn't make any sense at all. How does that even make sense? Sharing DNA with someone doesn't make them your owner. Your parents don't own you. You might believe that they do, but they don't. You are your own person. And I mean, yeah, sperm can live for up to, I think, 5 days within your like vaginal canal sort of area. I don't know why I went up here. That's not, but like, it can live for several days, that's correct. But it doesn't modify your DNA. It just means that you have several days potentially in order for you to get pregnant, which I think people don't always know. So that's something to note, everyone. Keep that in mind. These have been some really fun facts from people on the internet who don't actually Google things before they say them. Which, you know, it's always important. We learned at school is 3 before me, right? You have to check 3 sources before you say anything. That's not what 3 before me meant. We did learn the 3 source thing. 3 before me was not the thing. That was a different thing. But we did learn in year 12 in the white van with Harold the giraffe, we learned that you have to check 3 sources before you can assume something is true. If you can't find it on more than 3 sources, then it's probably not true. And they also have to be reliable sources. You can't just check like 3 different people's Twitter. That's not a source. You have to check 3 actual reliable sources in order to make sure that it is true. So maybe do that. Don't just like read a tweet and then be like, I know what I'm talking about. Or like lie to yourself to the point you believe your lie. Don't do that. Check. This has been my video. I hope that you have enjoyed. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons. Wolf, Toulouse, Bobby, Sparrow, Josh, Mandy, Robbie, Christy, Ikazel, the Alienated Librarian, Non-Euclid System, Skylar Dowd, Ishtar Hope, and Eldo. I love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day early, as well as the podcast episodes, Savvy Cat Productions, 1 week early. And for upwards of £3 a month, you also get a monthly live stream, bonus mini podcasts, outtakes, and a bunch more stuff. So go check that out. Your support means the absolute world to me. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TheQueerKiwi, and Twitter, ThatQueerKiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.